Before cities, before words, before fire, there was silence. A silence so deep it carried the weight of eternity. Then, from the dust of the earth and the breath of time, life began to move. The world was wild. Chaos and creation intertwined. Volcanoes erupted across the horizon, oceans boiled with storms, and lightning flashed through endless nights. From this turmoil, life found a way. Tiny creatures crawled, swam, and multiplied for millions of years. And then, in the cradle of Africa, something extraordinary happened. It was not yet human, but it looked at the horizon for the first time. This was Australopithecus, the first being to walk on 2 feet, to see beyond the grasslands, to dream beyond instinct. They had small brains, long arms, and powerful jaws, but within them was the spark of something divine, curiosity. They did not know why they looked at the stars. They only knew they were alive, and that meant something. Centuries turned into millennia, and nature carved new forms. From Australopithecus came Homo habilis, the handy man. He discovered the power of stone, a sharp edge that could cut meat, carve wood, and shape destiny. With purpose came thought. They began to hunt, to share, to communicate through grunts and gestures. Fire had not yet come, but the idea of control was born. The world was merciless. Lions, saber-tooths, and hyenas hunted them day and night. For the first time, creatures relied not only on strength, but on each other. That was the birth of community. Thousands of years passed, and the line of evolution continued. Homo erectus emerged, taller, stronger, with eyes full of intelligence, and with that flame, the night became theirs. Fire gave warmth, safety, and the power to cook food. It gave them control over their fear. Around those fires, stories were born, no words yet, but sounds, memories, emotions, the beginnings of language. They learned that life was not just about surviving, but about remembering. Ice ages came and went, mountains rose, and rivers carved the land anew. Through every storm and famine, the human spirit adapted. Homo sapiens arrived, the wise human. They painted caves with images of bison and deer. They buried their dead with flowers and tools. They began to wonder about life beyond life. The mind had awakened. They spoke to the wind, to the sun, to invisible gods. They prayed for rain and feared the thunder, and in their fear they discovered faith. Faith that the world had meaning. They migrated across continents, from Africa to Europe, from Asia to the unknown. They crossed icy bridges and vast deserts. Every footprint they left became the beginning of a civilization. And with every generation, they became less beast and more being. They learned to weave, to shape clay, to build shelter, to love. They discovered music, rhythm born from the beating heart. Drums echoed through the forests as the sound of humanity's awakening. If you're listening to this story right now, remember, their courage flows in your veins. So pause for a moment, subscribe, share this story, and let more people remember where we come from. Because the story of the first humans is our story. Civilization was still far away, but its seeds were already sown. Tribes gathered around rivers, hunted together, raised children, and cared for the wounded. They began to understand compassion, the strange emotion that separated them from every other creature. When a child cried, another offered food. When an elder fell, they lifted him up. And in those simple acts, humanity was born. The nights grew long, but the fire never went out. They learned to predict the seasons, to follow the stars. Their eyes reflected galaxies. Their hearts carried wonder. Slowly, they discovered time, the rhythm of the sun and the moon. Birth, growth, death, the eternal circle. They began to build memories, not in stone, but in spirit. As the millennia passed, tools evolved. Spears became sharper, traps more complex. Hunting became strategy, thought became intelligence. From fire came pottery, from stone came art. And soon they would take one more step, The step that would change everything. Language, ideas spread beyond tribes, beyond generations. They could now tell their children not just what to do, but why. That why made them human. That question shaped our destiny. They built small villages, learned to farm, to stay in one place. Grains grew where wild grass once ruled. They domesticated animals, learned to control the land instead of fearing it. The first seeds of civilization sprouted, and with them, the first dreams. No longer slaves to nature, they became its students. They studied the heavens, the moon's pull, the movement of stars, and they began to wonder, who are we? Where did we come from? They didn't yet know the answers, but the question itself was divine. It meant that within them was the reflection of the Creator, a mind capable of imagining the infinite. Time moved forward like a river. Empires would rise and fall, but the story of the first human would remain written in every one of us. The desire to survive, to love, to believe, to create. It all began there, in that spark between dust and divinity. So tonight, when you look up at the stars, remember, those same stars watched over our ancestors as they took their first steps. Those same constellations guided them through darkness. And even now, the universe still whispers their names. We are not separate from them. We are their continuation. We are living history, the echo of the first breath that began it all. Because when the first human stood and looked to the sky, he wasn't just seeing light, he was seeing purpose. And that purpose was the beginning of everything.